Now, astronomers are photographing space with ultra-sensitive digital cameras. But for most of the 20th century, this was done with analog photographic plates. In the 1950s, the Palomar Observatory in California used them to create the most detailed star charts. Even while processing hundreds of plates, scientists missed some stars, causing the discovery to be put on hold for a long time. Until 70 years later, when Swedish astrophysicist Beatrice Vioque took out the Palomar mystery from the archives and shocked the scientific community. These are two pictures of the same sky area. The one on the right was taken in the late 90s, and the one on the left was taken in the 50s. Do you notice anything unusual? Nothing special, except that 9 stars somehow vanished within half a century. Explaining their disappearance was already a daunting task. However, this mysterious 9 were also missing from other Palomar before and after images, taken only half an hour apart. Before Vioque, people believed it was due to contamination of the photographic plates, or reflections from space debris that accidentally fell into the frame. This does happen, but rarely. But 9 different flaws appearing at once in one photo is incredible. Scientists began scanning this area of the sky using infrared and other telescopes to find something, at least, in the place of the 9 vanished objects, such as supernova remnants and invisible wavelengths. 9 stars exploding simultaneously in a few minutes is also incredible, but it's much better than 9 unexplained blind spots. But all efforts were in vain. It turned out that this mysterious 9 were officially called strange transients in scientific papers, and were not even stars, but star-like objects. From science to humanity, scientists do not know what kind of unknown celestial body illuminated space for only a few minutes, and then vanished forever. This anomalously flickering star, residing in the dense core of the Milky Way 25,000 light-years from Earth, may one day help them unlock this mystery. This red giant, 100 times more massive than our Sun, seemed to go out, but suddenly reappeared after 200 days. Scientists believe the star was eclipsed by its invisible, but very unusual companion. It looks incredible. The object must have a gigantic and very dense disk of gas and dust. Imagine a Saturn as large as a star. A celestial body with this configuration is scientifically unknown. But at least they don't affect Earth like the most mysterious object in the zone of avoidance. An object with the mass of thousands of galaxies is exerting an influence on our Milky Way, like gently waving a feather. For example, have you ever found it uncomfortable to drive in the city with a strip on the windshield? At least you can slow down or steer. The reality is you haven't even started the engine, yet you're still speeding down the street at 600 kilometers per second. On Earth, a 10-second trip like this would take you from Harbin to Haikou. But at the same time, you'll never know what kind of power is carrying you across the entire continent, or what it will do to you next. Astronomers discovered the Milky Way's anomalous speed in the 70s and concluded the destination was somewhere in the constellation Scorpius, right within the zone of avoidance. But the mystery became even more profound when thousands of galaxies seemed to be moving with us toward a specific point in the blind spot area. The mystery became even more profound, including those hidden Maffei galaxies. In fact, this gravitational core forms the huge Laniakea supercluster, spanning 500 million light-years. The mysterious object that impressed astronomers was named the Great Attractor, and they immediately began peering into the zone of avoidance, hoping to determine what kind of gravitational beast wanted to devour us. Preliminary estimates suggested that to have such a powerful effect on the Milky Way? The Great Attractor must be 10,000 times heavier than our galaxy, which is heavier than even the most supermassive black hole. This clearly indicates the galactic nature of the attractor. This invisible cluster must be between 150 million and 220 million light-years away. In any other area of the sky, such a huge structure would appear before us in its full glory. But in the zone of avoidance, it proved to be an extremely difficult telescope target. 20 years later, astronomers gave up hope that they would ever solve the Great Attractor obsession. It seems all that's left is to wait for the solar system to complete half a turn around the galactic center, so that the Great Attractor finally leaves our zone of avoidance. But this will happen in 100 million years, which is simply too late. The Dutch-South African astronomer René C. Kraan-Korteweg didn't want to wait. In 1998, using an advanced X-ray telescope, she and the avoidance zone's depths discovered a giant Norma cluster, 220 million light-years from Earth. Its gravitational power can be judged by the appearance of the unfortunate Medusa galaxy, which is moving toward the center of the Norma cluster at 3 times the speed of the Milky Way, 1,900 kilometers per second. Therefore, this ram pressure effect will push the gas out of the galaxy, preventing it from forming new stars. After all, our solar system was born from such gas. A similarly terrifying fate awaits the Milky Way. However, further calculations revealed that the mass of the Norma cluster is 10 times smaller than the previously predicted Great Attractor, although the Norma cluster is located within the zone of avoidance, very similar to the Great Attractor's location, and coincidentally at a similar distance. This led scientists to believe that the Norma cluster might only be the core part of the Great Attractor, while its larger-scale components remain unobserved, hidden from view. However, the next discovery shook the perceived greatness of this mysterious cosmic core. This is an X-ray image showing the Shapley Hydra Centaurus supercluster, 650 million light-years from Earth, 3 times further than the Great Attractor. Today, astronomers consider this to be the zone of avoidance's most gigantic monster, estimated to have the mass of 10,000 Milky Ways, even farther, 840 million light-years away. The same astronomer, René C. Kraan-Korteweg, discovered the Vela supercluster, approximately 1,000 times more massive than our own galaxy. Current observations indicate that the Milky Way is moving at a speed of about 600 kilometers per second. This movement is influenced by the combined gravitational pull of the Norma supercluster, the Shapley Hydra Centaurus supercluster, and the Vela supercluster. They coincidentally, and are all within the same blind spot, lie along the same line as our Milky Way. This means that the Milky Way is not awaiting a catastrophic plunge into a single cosmic core, but is rather dancing between several centers of mass. Regardless, astronomers still know very little about gravitational effects on such massive scales to make definitive conjectures. If we find more strange and massive structures in the zone of avoidance, they will once again overturn our science. For now, we can only hope for the iteration of more advanced equipment that can remove most of the blind spots from space. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and discuss.